Okay guys, so now I'm going to show you how to do the slip stitch and ribbing for the slip stitch and what it will look like. So remember, we're going to skip our first chain from the hook and we're going to go into the next one. And in our V, we're going to go in between to grab that top, work into that top loop. And we're going to do that all the way until the end. So in between the V, between the V and into that back loop, between the V to that back loop. All right, between, grab the top, in between to go through the top, in between to go through the top. All right, and just remember to keep somewhat of a loose tension, because if you go too tight just with the chains, you're gonna have issues later on and you're gonna be struggling. Right, so you just pull up a loop. Right, let me show that again. This is our first chain. We skipped this first one, so this is the second chain from the hook. Put your hook in between there, pull up a loop. Right, grab the loop we just pulled up and slip it through the first loop on the hook. Right, this is our third chain from the stitch, from the hook. Put it in between, pull up a loop. Okay, grab it with the hook and slip it through the first loop on your hook. Right, and before I forget, so now you have 2 slip stitches. Here's the first one, and here is the second one. And we're gonna put our stitch marker on the right hand side of that V. Okay, just so that it's easier for us to identify when we start our second row. Right, there's our next chain. Go in between, pull up a loop, and slip it through that first loop on your hook. And keep on working your way down the rest of your chain, I'm sorry. You get lost, you're not sure, pull it apart, you'll see where we have that yarn there. You can see the chain where it ends, and you can see that this is our next chain. And don't worry about how you're holding your hook. Everyone holds it different. I hold it like this, other people hold it like it's a pencil. You just do what's most comfortable and feels most natural to you. Okay, so at the end, this is what it looks like. Our first, second, third, fourth, fifth, sixth, and seventh. Okay, so we have 7 slip stitches, and at the end you just want to do chain 1 and then flip your work. And instead of looking at your work from the side like this, how you normally would, you're going to flip it towards you so that you can see the V's. Right? And very much like with the chain, we're going to be working into the middle. Again, forget this chain stitch from the hook. You're going to work into the actual stitch, the V. You're going to go in the middle through that back loop on each and every single stitch. Okay, you're going to be doing that. And sometimes it's actually easier to just work on it from the side. Let me get another stitch marker. Okay, so it may be easier to work on this while it's on its side or towards you. You work however it's most natural for you, but where you can see that you're working into the back loop only. Alright, again, keep your tension somewhat loose, or else you're going to be struggling putting your hook through the middle of that V. Alright, there's our first stitch. Put your stitch marker on there. Okay. Now you can continue on to the next one. Oops, got some yarn from another stitch on accident. That's okay. Slip through that one. Okay, sometimes your yarn will split like it did right here. That's okay. Just take your hook out, put it through again. And here's our last stitch. Here's one side of the V. So that means that this is the other side. And you just chain stitch. Whoops. Chain that. Flip over. And again, work into the back loop only. And I'm going to keep on going, and I'm going to show you guys what it looks like when you do a few more rows. Okay, but for now, this is what our work looks like. And I'll see you guys back in a bit. Alright, you guys, after a few rows, this is what it looks like. So the slip stitch in the back loop only is what I think most closely resembles knitting, in the sense that you can see what in knitting terms is the knit stitch, and then if you pull it apart, it imitates the purl stitch. And it's very stretchy, as you can see. And it's exactly the same on the other side also. And this is what it looks like from the top and bottom. The side. The other side. And this isn't like an X amount of stitches you have to chain or whatever. You can make it the length of a beanie. I think it's, don't quote me on this, I think it's about 10 inches. You can go however long you want. Make this, and then at the end just slip stitch these ends together, and then at the top sew it together in order to make your beanie. Or you can use this for the brim of a hat. Alright, but this is slip stitch and slip stitch in the back loop.